Okay, two very important words, chromatic and diatonic. Now, in order to explain these, I think a easier way to do it just at first is to look at a piano keyboard to kind of understand what's happening here. So if you're using MuseScore, you can pull one up by going to the View menu and then Piano Keyboard, or you can just hit the letter P and turn one on and off. It's very nice. So let's have a look at this, and let's hover right around middle C here. So what is the difference between chromatic and diatonic? The easy way to put it is diatonic means we're in key. If we are playing a melody that is diatonic, it's going to stay in a certain key. Now, there's, sometimes one note can go out of that key and stuff like that, and we can still call it diatonic. But more or less, diatonic means we're in a key. So if we're in the key of C major, which is all of the white notes, right? So we're going to talk about keys shortly. Don't worry. But trust me, for now, the key of C major is just white notes. So if I was playing a melody, something like that, that is diatonic because I am staying in the key of C major, right? So diatonic means staying in key. Now the opposite of diatonic is chromatic. Chromatic means there's no key. It's pure chaos. It's the total Wild West of music is chromatic. So that means any note goes. Chromatic, the word itself, we get from the word chroma, which means color. So it's like using all of the colors. Chromatic music, music that is completely chromatic, tends to be, I should say, pretty ugly and pretty dissonant and kind of crazy out there. Now, there are people that made whole careers on writing entirely chromatic music, and we'll talk about that sooner or later in this class, near the end. And a lot of it is really interesting, but it sounds kind of crazy. And so chromatic would be something like, I'm going to just not worry about what key I'm in at all. I'm going to play. Like I could play all the notes, and that is chromatic music. So those are the two differences, chromatic and diatonic. Chromatic means any note will work. Any note is fine to use in a chromatic setting. But in a diatonic setting, it means we're locked into a key, or as I just said in the previous video, into one of these templates that I'm going to call a key or a scale. I'm locked into a scale or a key, and most of my notes are coming from that. So the majority of the music that we're going to work with in this class, actually I might even say all of the music that we're going to work with, is going to be diatonic. It's going to be in a key, and it's going to use mostly notes from within that key, with, the occasional note goes out of the key, and that just makes it sound fun and interesting. But for the most part, diatonic music is what we're working with. So I might say, we might look at a piece of music and I might say, oh, this gets kind of chromatic in a section, meaning it starts to go outside of the key quite a bit, but then it comes back into the key and resolves or does whatever it needs to do. So that's what I mean when I say something gets a little chromatic. It means it's going outside of the key, right? So that's what those two words mean. They're very important words.